back to Young and Excellent. We are a great platform for young people or anybody under the sun in Sarnia Lambton to share their stories, share their work, share their business. We want to hear from you. So share your voice so we can amplify your voice on Young and Excellent. And make sure to follow us on socials because we post some cool things, I think. Anyways, like and subscribe. And we'd love to say thank you to the Sarnia Journal for sponsoring us, uplifting us, and making sure that we just keep running and running and running. And make sure you subscribe, running and running, running and running, running and running, running. In this context, you'll disrespect when we bust the rhymes, you break the neck. Anyways, thank you so much, Sarnia Journal. Make sure you subscribe to their daily email blast. It keeps you in the know, and I think it's really important to stay in the know, especially when we're building community, because that's what it's all about. On this episode, we chat with Elle, who is a fantastic young person in our community. We talk about all things high school drama class, what it was like to participate in Theatre Sarnia. All right, just for context, everybody, how we started this whole process was that Nick got confused with Stephen Curry in jorts and defended himself and that his shoes are actually Steve Curry shoes. And we said nice jorts.
See, instead of jorts, I thought you said Jordans.
Oh, you said we did Jordans. Yeah. Okay, you know what? That's fair. That's really fair. I'll give you some credit there if you thought we said Jordans.
Yes. Except I got the name of my shoe wrong.
It's not Steve Curry.
Stephen Curry.
Just made it 10 times worse. Anyways, I love you and you're hilarious.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome to the show, Elle.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you. We spent many months together on the Wolves. You were number 46 and then I was number 25. So if you're recognizing her, it's from many things, of course. You've been on stage many, many times, but most recently the Wolves.
Yes.
I would love to know what that process was like for you.
What do you mean?
What was that?
What do you mean?
Like the process of building your character, going to rehearsals, the show itself. Like how was it on your side?
I found 46 was really hard actually because I didn't think that I was like her at all. Like I didn't think I was.
That's wild to me.
Right?
That's so
now
wild
that it's done, I'm like, oh my goodness, I am a 46. But because I thought she's very awkward, and I didn't realize that I'm like awkward, but like in a like an extroverted social.
You're a charming awkward. It's not like I would describe myself as a charming awkward as well. And I think having a level of awkwardness is actually like a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're too charming, then like you can easily manipulate people. Whereas if you're like awkward charming, it's like you're lovable. You know what I mean? Because everyone's a little awkward. Every single person's a little awkward.
Yeah, but I had a hard time with her at first because she would just say these like out of pocket things, and I'd be like, why is she saying that? And then I'm like, oh my goodness, I say out of pocket things all the time.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. But again, it's always in like a really awesome way. And you're very funny. And you're very like, I find with 46 too, is that she was a very naturally like excellent person. Like in soccer and everything, like she just excelled very naturally. I find you do that too. So that's why I was like, always like thought you were really parallel. I think though, how Kate casted, we all were a little bit of our characters because I had the same experience as you. I didn't think I was number 25 at all. I'm number 7 or I'm number 13. Like there's no way I'm 25. And I went through a huge existential crisis because I was like, oh my God, I'm number 25 in real life.
Yeah.
And like even when we were in rehearsals, I was number 25, even off the stage. It was like, oh, okay.
But like that's good because you're like a naturally born leader. I feel like it's just like that's such a good thing. That's a good thing.
I guess we'll see what life happens. You know, it's fine. But in terms of like building 46 though, and not making it too similar to yourself, how did you like try to depict the character on stage?
I tried to like really like separate like my life from her. Like I had to like really like pretend I was like I said, like acting. I had to pretend I was a completely different person.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I didn't realize I was so much like her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of, I think that Kate had a lot of character development sheet work paper that I would just spend like hours looking at.
Oh, it was the best.
Wow, yeah, she's such a good director.
Oh, she's phenomenal. I'd work with her again in a heartbeat. Anyone on that production team I'd work with again.
She's doing Rent, right?
Yeah, she's doing Rent. I can't audition, but I hope you do. You better audition for it.
Kate and I were talking about it, and I was like, Kate, I kind of want to audition for it. She's like, like, vocal lessons. These people do, like, please audition. And I'm like, okay,
yes. Vocal lessons. If anybody is looking to audition for anything next season that's musical, get vocal lessons. I haven't done vocal lessons fully yet. I've just dabbled in it, and it does make a huge difference, honestly.
Never done vocal lessons.
It's really nice.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Really
I'm supposed to start next season.
Oh,
so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. Okay, so how this came to be was because you reached out to me and you were talking about topics, and I thought what was so fascinating about the topic that you brought forward was the process of doing theater and kind of having a mean girl situation, and how do you combat that and how do you overcome that? And you obviously just graduated high school,
Yes.
which is phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I would love to hear like what sparked that.
What do you mean, like, what sparked it?
Because your whole point was that like girls in high school go through a lot, and then when you throw like theater in the mix, it can become even more explosive.
Yeah. So like my first show was in like at St. Pat's. Like my first like big theater show was actually on stage at Imperial, was doing Grease, and I found that was so hard. Like I felt like because like as girls like in high school, and there is that mean girl thing where like especially in theater there's like this competition. It almost feels like, oh, you have to be the best, or you have to do it this way, or everyone's like out to get each other to get that role. And I found that was really hard, especially doing high school, just theater with that. But like I was worried about that with Wolves, because I was like, oh, it's an all girl
I was terrified. I don't normally get along with like girl groups.
Me neither.
And so I definitely get that. So from Greece, like your experience, because us competing against each other as women is a symptom of the patriarchy, obviously. And we've been bred and conditioned to believe that the other woman in the room is our enemy because we're competing for male attention. And without even knowing it in high school, like that dynamic pops up, and then like you get to 30 and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I was conditioned to do that when I could have been uplifting the whole time.
Right? And I preach that so loudly, because I'm just like, girls, I always feel like we're out to like attack each other, or we're going through like this identity crisis, especially in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, like we need to like stick together.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I agree. Women need to stick together, but I really love that you're talking about it from the perspective of like being from high school and in high school, because I don't think we have enough conversations with young women around your age about what that actually looks like. So for you to spark that to me and be like, hey, like this is something I think would be a really cool topic. What would you have to say on the topic about like how to overcome that?
How to overcome that? I think that just like when you figure out like who you are, like obviously I haven't fully figured, like I'm still
and
I'm
you
still,
won't.
Right, like
You'll be 50 and you won't know who you are. You guys got to figure it out. Yeah.
And I think like if you're just kind, like I feel like that's the big thing that I've had to learn is like, okay, because especially in high school, like if us girls are mean to each other, we're setting a precedent for men to treat us like that, because us women treat each other like that.
Absolutely. And I think also like it's okay not to like one another. And I think that's what people really get misconstrued in high school is that like you can not like somebody and still be a supporter of that person. Two truths can kind of exist at once in that like playing field. Like you can admire someone and you can really respect someone, but you don't have to like them. And looking back in my high school experience, because I experienced a lot of the same things as you, like that competition, I just didn't have the full theater experience of that, because the theater experiences that I had was like youth groups and doing Act 2 at Rebound and like being more ensemble characters, and then kind of doing those plays that only had one girl in the show. So for me, it was very much more like, I feel like I was the best for the gig, so I'm going to be the best for the gig. And with my female relationships, it was more so like in the drama class. That's where I felt that like competition vibe. And like, it's such an interesting thing to go through while you're learning. And I know you were a drama class nerd like me.
Yes.
So did that happen for you too, like in the class?
I found it a little bit. I just think that I think like humility is like a huge thing that like I feel like is so important, like especially like in the theater and people that do drama, because it's like, yes, like as long as you're humble about your talent, like you can totally like show your talent, and but you also like be like, okay, wow, Maddie has so much talent too, and I have talent, just kind of like something that you both have that talent instead of being mean. But yeah, actually 2 of my drama classes were online.
Oh yeah, because you had the COVID experience.
Oh, I hate that word, but yes. But my grade 9, I didn't even step foot in my drama class in grade 9, and it was like virtual, and it was like, it was weird. It was weird.
I feel like it would almost intensify the need for competition, not only amongst women with women, like with everyone, because this minute you get back into high school after a pandemic, it's kind of like, did you find it was like a free-for-all, or did you find it well structured?
It was chaotic, especially like I'm trying to think, like my grade 9 drama class was online and I didn't know anyone in there because right, like we had been so like isolated in our classes as it was, and I didn't even know a single name on that Google Meet, and I was like, I don't even know who you guys are. And then we didn't really turn our cameras on, and then like Martina Austin, she was like, cameras on, guys, and we're all like,
I'm in my bed. I haven't showered yet. Like I just rolled over and turned on my laptop.
But she made us turn our cameras on.
Wow,
So that was intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in grade 9. Like, so I would love to like go into that if you're good, because I love what you're talking about right now. Is that your grade 9 year was on COVID, so you had to do everything online. You were very isolated. How do you think that like affected your like high school experience?
I feel like it really, like the social aspect was really hard because I was homeschooled. I don't know if you know this, but I was homeschooled.
I did not know you were
homeschooled. A lot of from like grade like 1 to 5, I was homeschooled. And so I came in like grade 6 and 7 and 8.
Oh, wow.
And then but I came from a very small school. So there were 8 graduates. And so we were very much like, it was like, I didn't really have a lot of like social skills really, and so that was like really hard trying to like balance that. It's like, okay, we're social from 6 feet, what? But so that was hard.
That would have been really hard, because then you would have had, because grade 8, was that when the full lockdown happened at the very end?
So my graduation was in 2020 for grade 8, and so we had, that was like our extended March break when they were like, oh, 2 weeks extra of March break.
I remember that. I was like pumped because I was doing my master's at the time. So I was like, I just get to stay at home for longer.
I was like, extra break for me, okay. Because my birthday always falls on March break. It's like extended birthday for me.
It's like, okay. I love that perspective of like that, but it's so funny how it lasted like almost 2 years after that point. But I would love to know too, like, because you said you were homeschooled from grade 1 to grade 5, and then at grade 6 you entered the whole elementary school system, which can
small,
be a lot.
but whole elementary school system.
It's like, it's a lot. Elementary school is a lot. So you only had like 2 years to socialize and gain
with the
those
8
skills.
people. Yeah.
And then, because you're from the county, right? So your elementary school was at Holy Rosary that you went to? Nice. My cousins went there. That's the only reason why I know it. But yeah, so you would have literally had 2 years, and then you were back into isolation. That's
and then
nuts.
thrown in with like 1,600 kids.
Oh my God. How did you handle that change?
I had a really hard time. It was definitely interesting, but then I was able to kind of find my own group. I think that I really thought that theater was going to really help with that, and it did to a degree, but just, it was hard.
Yeah, absolutely, because you go from like living on top of the world in your own little ecosystem, being like raised in homeschool, and then being thrown into having these dynamics, and then going back into isolation, and then being thrown into the wolves of being a teenage girl, doing drama, having to deal with all of the clickiness that happens in high school. All of the, high school was a lot. High school was a lot.
There was a lot of clickiness in Greece, and I remember coming into the wolves being like thinking that's what that's the only really true theater experience I had. So that's what I thought. That's what I was coming into the wolves with full expectation. I was like, there's clickiness. I remember sitting in a car with Marley, and I remember us being like, so these, because you guys were all older than us.
You guys were like teenagers.
We're like, are these like our friends? Are these our elders? Like, what's
elders? Oh, elders! Oh my God. Okay. No,
we were sure like, can we make jokes?
I didn't know either, because I direct Act 2. And so like I'm very used to working with 17-year-olds, but I'm always in a leadership position. And so I remember that first read through, I was so nervous. Oh my God, I had to go to the bathroom like 5 times. I was just like, I'm so socially anxious sometimes. And I was just like, okay, like I just have to like suck it up. And then when I had to introduce myself, I was like shaking. And I was like, oh my God, like this is like the scariest moment of theater that I've had in a really long time. Because again, walking into a play that has to do with female sports, and that is also a competitive field. And then being in a group of like all women, that like was scary. It was very intimidating. And like, I felt the same way with you and Marley. I was like, do I treat them like they're teenagers, or do I treat them like they're my friends? And so I went the friend route. I was like, you know what? If they're gonna be on the same level as me, I have to treat them as the same level. And I'm so happy I came at that with that energy, because everybody came at that with that same energy. So
Which
it
I
was
was
nice.
so grateful for. But,
Yeah.
but I walked into that run through and I hadn't even met Kate yet. Like, I didn't know
'cause
anyone.
you sent a tape in.
Right, yeah. And so, like, I knew Shauna from my childhood because our moms were friends.
Yeah.
But besides that, I, like, sat down and I was like, who are you? I messaged Marley on Instagram. And I was like, hey, like, I heard you're in, like, can I sit with you?
Can we, like, be friends, please?
So I knew she was the only one that was, like, 16.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but that was so intimidating. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone. Like, I didn't even know who Kate was yet. Like,
yeah, that would be like really intimidating, because at least I had people I knew. Like I knew most people in the room. I think you and Marley were like the only ones, and Kira I didn't really know, and Hope. But I met Hope at the audition, so it's like it's different when you see everybody at the audition, because you're like, oh, okay, like I kind of know who you are, but we didn't get to see you. So how did you like overcome that though? Because I feel like you came in and you were like ready to socialize. Like I felt like you were one of those people that were like, I want to be friends with everybody.
yeah, I don't like the awkwardness. Like I'm very much like a person. I'll talk to anyone. Like, as long as like I'm great with small talk.
Yeah, which is impressive.
I'm so blessed, but I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting. But I was kind of just like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm gonna make this not awkward.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, you did a great job, because like I felt like you're very like magnetic. Like people want to be friends with you, and that's a beautiful gift. And I hope it continues to grow. Honestly, I do. And so coming out of the Wolves now, like what do you think was the greatest like lesson that you kind of learned from it?
I think the greatest lesson was just like, because I've had that harder experience in theater, that just to not go into my future things expecting that, like to look like on the more of the bright side of things, being like, okay, like I've had this experience, I come with this experience, but like that doesn't mean that this one's gonna be that. Right? So more just looking at like the positive side of things.
Aww,
but
I like that. And it's okay to feel still with those positive things, but like it is really nice to have like a really good outlook, because if you have a good outlook, kind of everything just follows in suit kind of thing, because you don't really have to worry about, oh, I'm going to have a bad day and it's going to remain a bad day. If you have that positive outlook, it's like, okay, maybe things are a little shit right now, but it's going to get better.
Like, I'm not going to let 5 minutes of a day affect a whole, 24 hours.
I love that you learned that from the Wolves. Because, like, I think a lot of people would answer, like, oh, like, have tough conversations, or, oh, like, I learned so much about character work, and I learned that, and then you had a completely different, like, you had a whole life lesson.
Well, like, I had a hard time with the Wolves. Like, I had some circumstances, and it was just really hard, but I was just so, like, just the Wolves. Like, I don't think that I would be, like, where I am today if it wasn't for you guys, like, with everything I had going on.
Yeah, well, that's very sweet.
Yeah, I just, like, I was so blessed to just, like, work with, even just be around, like, women, and it wasn't in a competition. Like, I did not feel a single ounce of competition in there at all.
And everyone was trying to uplift each other. And, like, if we challenged each other, it was because we wanted the play to be better. Because when you're an ensemble cast, you have to raise the energy and you have to challenge. But it wasn't a competition for the spotlight. We were all working for the same goal. And I really think that, like, how Kate structured the rehearsals really helped with that, because we were able to stretch every rehearsal, and, like, the fact that she let me lead them as well, so it was a peer-to-peer thing, not like a director-to-cast thing. I felt like that let us, like, kind of drop the mask and just be very open. Like, some days we would talk about Drake songs and
Taylor Swift.
And then other days it was like I had the worst week of my life and I had to do this, and this, and we just held each other while we stretched. And it was like, it was the first time I think I felt completely held by a cast. And I felt like everybody felt the same way about making sure that it was the best it could be, as opposed to how can I be the star?
Yeah.
And that was, it's not to say that like other plays haven't been fantastic. Like everything was so, I've had a phenomenal run with Theatre Sarnia. I've never had a bad experience really, but The Wolves was just special.
It was.
Yeah.
I think that because it was such a hard, like, there were really hard topics, that really caused us to be really vulnerable with each other. And I think that really helped, like, in a way, just to, like, be there for each other and not, like, tear each other down.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's definitely changed my perspective on girl groups. Because, like, I have a great girl group from Toronto, but I feel like it's a very different culture up there. Whereas in Sarnia, it's like, I'll pick up a couple, but it's just mainly guys here. And so it's changed my whole perspective on, like, how I see myself. And it's been really nice. It's been weird these past couple months not having it because I'm like, I think I got addicted. But
I know,
I'm like, addicted to the girl gang like mentality.
Just, I'm always messaging the group chat who wants to go to the beach.
Oh, I'm so down for a beach day.
Yes.
Oh my God. But also on top of that, like as I've learned from you throughout the process of the Wolves, is that you recently got back into religion.
I did.
And I would love to talk about that because I think it's fantastic. And I really think that people need to stop judging people's belief systems. As long as you're not shoving it down someone's throat, as long as you're being respectful, and as long as other people are being respectful, like why yuck someone's yum, as Cal said once to me. Thank you, Cal. I just feel like hearing your perspective on it, I think that'd be really cool for the listeners and watchers.
Yeah, so I grew up actually in a very Christian home, and then I kind of just like, as I entered high school, I kind of just like strayed away from it, kind of more entered what I call like the worldly world, just and how things were. And I think that coming back into it, I just had this whole other perspective. And there's so many like stereotypes like with like Christian like groups and stuff. They're like, oh, like they are like homophobic or like racist or like all these things, and I'm just like, guys, literally, like, we're just called to love everyone. And I think just being able to see both sides of the world, if we're gonna call it, I think that really helps. Just kind of like, because like I'm not like some like people when they find out I'm religious, they're like, oh, she's a crazy Christian. I'm just like, but I'm not like. I love everyone. Yeah,
and you're super chill too. And like I found that experience too because I grew up Catholic. I don't really know if I belong to any kind of domination anymore just because I'm like, like I just feel like I'm more so I believe in God and I love the teachings that I've learned because of Catholicism and I love growing up in a Catholic system like in education. I feel like I had a lot of opportunities. Obviously those schools are funded better too, like, well, call on the government please, but anyways, that's a different topic. But I'm very thankful for my upbringing. I'm very thankful for my connection to like a different entity that I can kind of, talk to and like have that relationship with and then not have the pressure of the world on my shoulders. It's like, well, divine justice will take care of it. The divine will be fine. Like everything is going to work out because the universe got me. That's the same thing as what Christians preach. It's just Christian is a community. And so you find community through religion. Yeah. So do you find that you've found a community within it?
I have. Like, I love my church. Like, I'm involved in so many different, like, churches in little areas, like youth groups and young adults. And, like, even this summer, I'm working at Temple Baptist again, the day camp.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
And so I think that, I don't know, I just found, like, very much, like, a sense of belonging there and a community there. And even, like, they support my theater, too. Yay. Like, they came to see the Wolves. Even though
my God.
They came to see the Wolves. And I was just kind of like, okay, like this is what's happening here. And I even told them, I was like I'm auditioning for Rent. Yeah. Like I might not advertise that as much. Like if I get into it, but like I'm auditioning for Rent.
Yeah, like, absolutely. But I think that's so beautiful because when you can find a group that shares your values, your interests, and then also like kind of practice in a community. Like I know you do like backyard worship, and I know that like you do your co-op.
Doing my co-op there right now.
Yeah. So I think that that's fantastic because it seems like a safer place to be.
It is,
Because no matter where you go, especially when you're practicing in community, you can't have a safe space. You can't promise people safe spaces, but a safer space is how we become secure human beings. And so it seems like what you got going on is pretty safer. And that's good.
I like it. It's a good experience.
What is backyard worship? I've never ever been. I've never experienced it. Yeah. I would love to know what the heck it is.
I would love to talk about backyard worship. I'm like the biggest backyard worship fan. So backyard worship,
just picture snakes. And I'm like,
no. So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so Dave Lane, he's a member of Sarnia. He does this Youth for Christ, like this kids group with Emily, and they have a son named Bobby, and they're from Temple.
Oh, cool.
And he just kind of like started just like getting some friends together and just like jamming it to like worship music actually in a backyard. That's how they started.
Oh, so that's why it's called backyard.
That's why it's called backyard worship. And so it's super cool because there's different types of like Christianity, right? Like there's Catholics, there's Pentecostals, there's Baptism.
So many.
Right?
It's like a whole spectrum.
And sometimes I find there's a little bit of just like, not competition isn't the right word, but like my way's better, like our way's this way. And at the end of the day, we love the same God, but there's just kind of like that separation a little bit. But like we come together under one roof like once a month, like it's just under one barn, and we just like worship the same God, no matter what our different beliefs are on certain things, and we just come together as like a community. It's mainly young adults, but and so I remember when it started-ish, and there were like maybe like we'd have like 100 people come out, and now like the barn was overflowing last time, and it's so cool.
Yeah, honestly, like I do love a good worship kind of song. Like sometimes I would go to church with my grandma before she passed, and like that was like my favorite part about church was just singing. And I think there's something so like powerful of when a group of people come together. There's no cell phones, there's no TVs, there's no sports game on, there's nothing. It's just you coming and singing alongside your fellow people. And I think that that's such a powerful thing.
And it's not like hymnsy. Like sometimes we'll do hymns, but it's not like your standard like
Jesus
standing.
Loves me, that I know, for the Bible tells me so. Is that one?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
If Bobby Lane's listening.
Yeah.
But
I'm requesting it. I won't show up, but I'll request it.
Well, Hope came with me.
Oh,
Hope
Hope did. Oh, that's so nice.
And yeah, she was like, even she was saying this, she's like, wow, she's just so like overwhelmed with how like loving everyone was. Because it's not like, we're not just like standing there and just like worshiping God. Like people are dancing and singing.
I think when I have like kids, I would love for them to experience what that would be like. Because I haven't experienced it, and I'm just like, I want to give my kids everything under the sun so they can make really well-equipped choices when they're older. And I feel like that's the kind of vibe that I'd be like, yeah, you go dance, go have fun. And like, I think it's such a wholesome thing, honestly. And I love that you do it.
Yeah, but it's cool because I know like a lot of the band, like I know each band member, like my best friend, her brother and sister-in-law are in it, and like my best friend plays piano and I have people on drums, and like so it's kind of cool just have those connections and just know them. But they actually just released a new song like last week on Spotify.
Check it out. What is it?
It's called Broken Jars.
Broken Jars.
They released music, but yeah, I remember
That's intense. That's an intense name.
It's a good song.
It's intriguing.
I think you should listen to it.
I will listen to it.
You should.
Anything with jars, like jar hearts.
I don't know if it's like that.
That's what my brain went. But I will listen to it. Broken Jars.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually like that name a lot.
Yeah, it's such like, it's just a very like powerful song. I really like it.
That's amazing. Okay, well, moving on, my friend. I would love to know also, as a young 18-year-old in Sarnia, what do you think we could do better in terms of like serving youth or like making sure young people feel supported in the community? Like it could be as simple as like get a race car track so we can like race, so we can get bumper cars. I don't know. Or like anything under the sun. Like what do you think we need to do better as a community to serve our young people?
I've been asked that before, and I'm starting to notice like, so I'm involved on our wellness committee at my school.
Oh, nice.
And so like I've noticed that people are like more coming out to our school, like different groups. Like I know we do like wellness fair, like Lambton College will come, like different like wellness, like I think Rebounds come before and stuff like that. And like that's really helping, just kind of like, because I feel like with COVID, like people, like you're either involved or you're not. Like you don't really like step out. And
it's very polarizing. Yeah.
And so I feel like social media has been really helping with that. But yeah, I just think that, I don't know exactly, but just like something to bring us more together, like some way or another, if that's more groups. Or I think the high schools need to do something more like connected to each other, not just sports. Because instead I feel like we look at other high schools like competition, but I feel like that's a great way to more get connected with people, right? Like I don't know what that would look like, but just
I don't know either. I know back in the day, Skits used to do production. They used to open it to all high school students. So if you were at St. Pat's or at St. Chris, you could audition for their theater shows.
That's cool.
Something like that would be cool. Of course, also like I feel like with theater, keeping it to one school is sometimes better, just because then like the people that need the opportunities to go on for post-secondary can get those opportunities. If you're competing with all the high schools, it's a little bit more difficult. But like something like doing like paint nights and or like a day where everybody just travels to one school or something.
And we do like a whole big thing together.
That'd be so cool. I would have really enjoyed that back in the day. I would have definitely sat there and pretended like I didn't like it because I was a little bit too cool for school. But I would have enjoyed the opportunity to network within your own community of like young people.
But I know they have like little things like art, like for high schools and stuff, like different organizations will do stuff. But I feel like they need to keep like broadcasting it on social media, because I feel like that's where you get like teenagers' attention is through social media.
It is very difficult to get attention from teenagers on social media though, especially with the new algorithm, because the new algorithm is so personalized now that like even if we're shouting it from the rooftops, it feels like we can't get to you guys.
Really?
Yeah. So like from your perspective, how do like let's say like an organization like Rebound or an organization like Sexual Assault Survivor Center or like any of those main ones about the wellness like perspective, how can we get in touch with you guys then? Because if you're saying social media, then what do we need to do to get you guys to follow our channels?
So maybe I'm just on that. I feel like I'm on that.
Yeah,
I feel like my algorithm is that stuff, but that's what I'll do. Like, that's what I'll be like. I'll repost it or I'll post on my story to kind of just like, but I feel like encouraging people to maybe like be like, oh, post this so it gets on other people's stuff too.
Yeah,
I
that's
never really thought about that and that challenges.
It is very difficult, but at the same time, I'm also like, I'm not a big social media person. Like I'll go on it every once in a while. But I find like word of mouth is like the best. But of course I'm not a teenager anymore.
True. I wonder if like talking to like high schools about it, because I feel like if like someone at our school, like if a teacher's trying to tell us about it, we're gonna be like, what? No. Yeah. But like, yeah, maybe like having like someone who's like maybe just freshly out of high school or even in high school, like going to different high schools and being like, hey, like I do this. Like it's okay for us to do it. We're not doing it because a teacher's telling us to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys heard it here first. That should be the plan.
Yeah.
That should be the plan.
Sign me up. I'll do it.
Yeah, there you go. I will travel around.
I've got a car.
All right, so we have to wrap up, unfortunately. I've been really enjoying this conversation because I love talking to you.
I love you, Maddie.
I love you so much, honestly, so much. But I would love to know, what is the greatest piece of advice you've ever been given?
Greatest? I love those questions.
Yeah.
I think it was from my mom, and she told me, just especially in high school with everything, is to let it hurt, let it heal, and let it go.
Oof, that's beautiful. Because a lot of people just want to skip right to the letting go section.
Yeah, or holding on to it.
Holding on to it. It's like,
like
no, you have to feel. If you don't feel your way through it, you'll never heal.
Exactly. And if you just like let it go, like you don't acknowledge your own feelings, as long as you're not sitting in your own feelings too long and just like,
That's where that positive outlook comes in. Is then that's how you can move forward. But I really love that. Can you say those 3 sentences again?
Let it hurt, let it heal, and let it go.
That's beautiful. All I hear is Bruno's voice from Encanto, let it go.
I hear Frozen, let it go.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super duper. I'm more of an Encanto fan now.
Or even, I think, I have another thing too. But Kate Hardy told me, she was like, there's no such thing as embarrassment.
No, there's no such thing as embarrassment.
I remember the yogurt. There's no such thing as embarrassment.
There's no such thing as embarrassment until you embarrass yourself and you have that 3 a.m. thought for the rest of your life.
Oh my goodness.
Still struggling with those. But no, I love that though, because I'm fully in that mindset too. Like, I don't think that there's anything on this earth that can actually really embarrass me. Like, my anxiety will get the better of me, but that's not me. That's my anxiety talking, and I have to know the difference between those two things. But I also love that also kind of bleeds into those 3 sentences, you know, and making sure that you're understanding that your human nature, there is limits to it, and you will mess up, and you will fail, and you will embarrass yourself, or you will do all these things, but to not let it hold you back. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I love that. Also, why do you think the yogurt thing was so embarrassing?
I hated the yogurt thing. It was so awkward. But then I feel like after we had our little theatrical moment.
Yeah, we had a good musical theater moment.
Yeah. Catch it one year eventually when.
I don't even know what the moves anymore.
One day when Maddie directs it, then
oh my god, if I directed The Wolves, I'd be so happy.
Let me stage manage.
Yeah, sure, bet. Let's do it. But yeah.
2036.
Woo! Oh my god, how old will I be? I'll be so old by then.
I'll be 30.
Nicholas?
I'll be 30.
You'll be 30? Oh my god, so that would make me, oh my god, I'll be like almost 40. Because I'm like almost 10 years older than you. Actually, I am 10 years older than you.
You're 10 years older.
For real.
So you'll be like 40.
Were you born in 2006?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was born in 1996.
You're 10 years older
I'm 10 years older than you. Oh my god. I'm getting old.
You don't look it. So.
Well, thank you. You know, sometimes I look really old, and sometimes I don't look old. But that's just because I think I have a really mature personality. So, but you do too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, anyways, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Bye.